brothers and sisters, the month of Ramadan just passed. We supposed to have learned numerous lessons from this month of Ramadan. One of the main lessons that we should have learned is the lesson of controlling ourselves, controlling our desires, controlling every part of our body, controlling it in such a manner that we keep the Almighty Allah happy at all times. Because in Ramadan we were fasting. When a person fasts, he cannot eat, he cannot drink, he cannot fulfill his desires that are permissible to fulfill outside Ramadan. But this wasn't just fasting of keeping away from eating and drinking or staying away from fulfilling our desires, but this was fasting of our tongues as well. This was fasting of our hearts as well, by not harboring ill thoughts, evil thoughts regarding others, by controlling our tongues, by not saying bad, by not using vulgar language, by not backbiting others. Likewise, this was the fasting of our hands, where we do not lift our hands unnecessarily towards others, cause pain to others. This was the fasting of our feet as well, where we do not walk towards sin. So in a nutshell, this whole Ramadan, it wasn't just fasting, staying away from eating, drinking, staying away from fulfilling our desires, but rather this was a month of controlling ourselves, staying away from all type of desires and controlling our whole body to keep Allah the Almighty happy. So this was one of the main lessons in Ramadan, to control ourselves. Now it is of paramount importance that this training we gain in Ramadan, we carry out the results that we yield from this training throughout the whole year. That we make sure we control our whole body throughout the whole year, and make sure that we keep Allah the Almighty happy, where we control our tongues, we do not say bad regarding others, we control our hearts, we do not harbor ill thoughts regarding others, we do not sin, and we keep Allah the Almighty happy at all times. Another great lesson we learnt in Ramadan was the lesson of carrying out good deeds, instilling into ourselves the fervor to do good deeds and good actions. Because in numerous narrations it comes that if a person carries out a good act in Ramadan, then he gets numerous rewards. His rewards are multiplied manifold. Now this fervor that we instilled into ourselves of doing good deeds, we need to keep this fervor outside Ramadan as well throughout the whole year, where we carry out doing good actions and good deeds. But how do we keep this fervor outside Ramadan? So the best way is that we keep in our minds the reason why Allah the Almighty sent us to this world. So why did Allah the Almighty send us to this world? He mentions in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created jinn nor mankind but for my worship. So we have come to this world and have been sent to worship Allah the Almighty, to be Allah's slaves, to be Allah's holistic slaves, and enter Islam with totality, where we keep Allah happy at all times. Now if we keep in our minds, in our hearts, that we have come here, we have come to this world to keep Allah the Almighty happy, to worship Him, then inshallah this will be a way of instilling into ourselves the fervor to do good actions. No matter how small, how minute the good actions may be in our eyes, but we never know what good action could be our ticket to paradise. So never belittle any good action, and when we get a chance to do a good action, then we should always carry out the good action. We know that we have human necessities. We have to eat, we have to drink, we go to the toilet, we have to sleep. But you know, the speciality of Islam is that we can make every single action into worship. Whether it's eating, whether it's drinking, whether it's going to the toilet, whether it's sleeping, whether we're walking outside, we can make every single action into worship. How is that? That is by carrying out every action according to the teachings of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For example, before we eat, all we have to do is recite the dua before eating. Recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Bismillahi wa barakatillah. So mention the name of Allah, remember Allah before eating. whilst eating, like it comes in narrations, that we should thank Allah in our hearts. That, oh Allah, there are so many people around the world, they are not being granted food, but you have granted me food. Thank Allah for every morsel. After eating every morsel, thank Allah. In that way, our eating will become worship. After eating, recite the dua. Alhamdulillah alladhi at'amana wa saqana wa ja'alana muslimin. There are numerous du'as. Alhamdulillah alladhi at'ama wa saqa wa sawwaghahu wa ja'ala lahu makhraja. We need to learn these du'as, learn the meanings of these du'as. And this was the way the Prophet ﷺ ate. He mentioned the du'as before eating. Whilst eating, he thanked Allah in his heart. After eating, he recited the dua. In this way, our eating will become worship. Likewise, when we drink, before we drink, we recite Bismillah. After drinking one sip, we recite Alhamdulillah. After drinking, we recite the dua. After drinking, Alhamdulillah alladhi saqana adban furatan bi rahmatihi wa lam yaj'alhu milhan ujajan bi dhunubina. So our drinking will become worship. Likewise, we have the du'as before sleeping and after sleeping. We have the daily du'as, the du'a at the start of the day, the du'as at the night. And likewise, for all occasions, this is the speciality of Islam, that Islam has given us the opportunity to make every action of ours, whether it be of human necessities, we make that into worship. To such an extent that when a person fulfills his sexual desires in a permissible way with his wife, at that time also, Islam has given the opportunity for us to make that into worship as well, when we recite the dua at that time as well. So this is the speciality of Islam, brothers and sisters, that we can make every single action into worship. And we should take this opportunity, brothers and sisters. We should learn the du'as, and we should learn the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ. Hopefully in this way, we will remember our purpose of creation. Hopefully this way, we will carry on instilling into ourselves the fervor to do good deeds. So I pray Allah the Almighty give us the ability to maintain this fervor that we instilled into ourselves of doing good deeds outside Ramadan also. May Allah the Almighty give us the ability to carry on fasting spiritually. And may Allah the Almighty give us the ability to act upon everything that has been said. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.